things with forms. So here we have forms. Now you don't have to, this is not required, but to make it look nice, I put in field set in my form. I have field set that makes that little box around it. You can, my first form is actually these first two parts. I put two field sets around it. I gave it legends just to write the words, and you can see it kind of, if you're making a form, it can make it look much nicer and easier to read sometimes to do that. Inside, so here is my first form. I call it test. Now we don't, for us, we can just say form. We don't need any of this. This is really when you're doing server side. Here, I'm saying when someone hits submit, right, or subscribe, I called it, but you can hit submit the button. Then normally you'll go to, let's say, you'll post, we'll send it to a PHP script, um, or and this is my example, is using PHP, some type of server side scripting language, and that will process it, maybe put it into a database, whatever. For our purposes, this can really be empty. Get method is post will do something like that. Get works differently. Get kind of takes all the fields, puts it on top of the URL, and you'll notice it on URL. And in another video, I'll show you an example. But in general, for our purposes, we don't even need to put this in because our forms are going to go nowhere because we are not doing server side right now. Okay, so let's do it. So email is, I gave it a type email. So it knows if I put in something like test gmail.com and hit subscribe, it knows this is not an, and I didn't even have to validate it myself because I specified the type as email. It gave me an error. If I also don't put something in, I think I made it required. Since I specified the word required here, it'll give me that error as well. Since I made the type password, you'll notice you don't see anything on typing. So you see these little, um, what the password, the star, what is it, circles? You see these circles instead, so you don't actually see my password. Now, phone number, I had to validate myself. There's no type phone number. I gave it a pattern myself. You can use regular expressions, so I did that, and I have on my cheat sheet, I added in the forms cheat sheet a regular expression little tutorial. So here, this is saying digits. I want 3 digits followed by a hyphen, followed by 3 digits, um, followed again by the dash, followed by 4 digits, because that's how phone numbers should look. So it must be in this format. Okay, so here you can see I even wrote must be in this format. So now if I enter something that's not in this format, like this, and I hit subscribe, I get an error. It must be in that format. So let's put it. The other thing you'll notice is autocorrect is automatically set to there. So let's say I put in this, you can see a million emails coming up. And that's because autocorrect is there. You can in your form on the form line specify autocorrect off, and then it won't do that. In general, usually the default's on because it makes it easier to type because it remembers everything and gives it to you. I put a comment box placeholder. I put enter comments here. This is a text area. You can see a text area allows you to have many more characters than a regular text box. Um, Here, I just wanted to show you a drop down by using select. I was able to have a drop down. I specified 5, so it shows you the first 5, even though there's more. I also specified multiple so that in theory, you can select a few more things. I wanted to show you some other cool things like color. Look, by doing type color, I was able to get this. And where are we? And oh, here, you can also use label. Label is just a word. I could have put everything in label. The advantage of doing that, and we'll do that, is because then in your CSS, you can specify all the labels as a specific style, font, and so it actually ends up being nicer for the CSS. So you could, I did it in one example here, but you really will do it in all of them. The label is nice for that reason. And then here, I also specified, I wanted to show you things that you've seen when you're going through, and attaching file. You've done this on other people's sites. We've done this on Desire to Learn, but here we can do it ourselves. You can add this. You just have to specify where are we? Type. We did type is equal to color. Here, type is equal to file. Get that attached file. And then that's the end. I have input type is equal to submit for my submit button for the form. So let's go submit or subscribe. Web page is not found. All right, it doesn't go in. My web page is not found because I had it set to do test.php.